President Benton. Today, it is my privilege to introduce Anne Sweeney, one of the world's most influential media executives in the broadcasting industry. She is the co-chair of Disney Media Networks and president of Disney ABC Television Group. Ms. Sweeney oversees one of the world's most beloved and recognized broadcast media brands, providing news, entertainment, and children's programming to more than 200 affiliated stations throughout the United States and distributing content to more than 230 territories in 163 countries around the world in 32 languages through broadcast, cable, print, and online channels, with shows as diverse as Desperate Housewives, Lost, and Hannah Montana being developed during her tenure. Among her many accolades, she received the Vanguard Award for Leadership from the National Cable Television and Communications Association, was inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame and the American Advertising Federation's Hall of Achievement. She also received the prestigious Star Award from the American Women in Cable and Telecommunications. She's also consistently listed as one of Fortune's 50 most powerful women in business and as one of Forbes' the world's 100 most powerful women. Ms. Sweeney generously shares her time and expertise both within and beyond her industry, serving on the boards of Lifetime Television, the Paley Center for Media, the American Film Institute, the Special Olympics, and Cable Positive. And she actually was with us about 3 or 4 years ago and spoke in our Dean's Executive Leadership Series, so we're pleased to have her back today. So President Benton, it is truly my honor and privilege to present Anne Sweeney for Pepperdine University's preeminent distinction, the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree.
Thank you, Dean Livingstone. Anne Sweeney, because of your lifetime achievements in advancing the broadcast medium to effectively bring stories to all of us, stories that amuse, educate, challenge us to examine ourselves, and indeed to better ourselves. Because of your devotion to things even greater than your work, demonstrated in service to your industry, in your humanitarian endeavors, and in the care and love given to your family, and because of the example of your leadership, your astute understanding of the viewing public, and your expertise in organizational management at the highest level of industry, because that is an inspiration to all of us, especially our students here today. By the authority vested in me by the Pepperdine University Board of Regents, I now confer upon you the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree with all the rights, all the duties, and all the privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Sweeney.
Thank you so very much for this great honor, and congratulations, Susanna. And thank you for inviting me to be a part of this great celebration of achievement. I love commencement ceremonies. Looking out from this podium at all of you newly minted graduates, there's this wonderful sense of possibility and potential. I don't think you can fully appreciate it when you're draped in your gown and you're trying to keep the mortarboard on your head. But from up here, it's powerful and it's deeply, deeply inspiring. And I appreciate the chance to see it and be inspired by everything that you've done in your careers and in your school, and everything you will do next. The diploma you've earned here is more than a symbol of accomplishment. It's an expectation of leadership. You've been prepared to lead in a time when leaders are more important than ever. And I wanted to give you some insight into what kind of leaders we need you to be and encourage you to accept the challenge. Leadership isn't about magazine covers or being included on any list of powerful people. That kind of recognition is not the goal. It's a byproduct at best that can come just as easily from doing the wrong thing as it can from doing the right thing. Real leadership, the kind that makes things happen, and the only kind that matters, is about making the tough calls in times of change. It's about looking for resources and using what you have and making it work. It's about inspiring confidence and leading people through chaos and on to safer ground. It's about growing from the experience so that you emerge from the crisis stronger and better equipped than you were when it started, with more resources to draw on for the next challenge. That's what we need in every business, every initiative, every administration, and every industry. Whatever your passion or career path, there is a way for you to lead, and you need to find it. There are 3 fundamental truths of leadership to me. I originally had 6, but then I got bronchitis, and I realized that my voice was only going to go so far. So now you get my top 3 and a quick bonus example. That is, leaders have to adapt to changing circumstances. I appreciate your understanding. The first truth is that leadership isn't for those who are ready. It's for those who are willing. If you're waiting until you feel ready to lead, odds are you'll let needs go unanswered and opportunities pass. When you see a need, you have to be willing to take it on, whether you feel ready to lead or not. Many of the leaders who shaped our world did so without permission from anyone, much less an official title designating them as the person in charge. Earlier this fall, we lost a remarkable woman whom I'm admired and was honored to know. Eunice Kennedy Shriver was a force of nature who never hesitated to lead the way toward a solution whenever she saw a need. 50 years ago, people who were developmentally disabled were sidelined by our society with little engagement or thought for their well-being. Mrs. Shriver saw the impact that athletics could have on their physical and emotional health and created the Special Olympics, which not only created opportunities for special athletes to compete and succeed, it helped build their self-esteem and sense of belonging. It also changed family dynamics and raised public awareness that people who are different really aren't that different at all. My son Christopher competed in the Special Olympics when he was 9 years old, and the experience changed our lives as a family. And today, 1.5 million athletes from 160 countries have that same profound experience, all because one woman saw a need and did something about it. I've been on the board of Special Olympics for 9 years, and I have many, many wonderful memories of Mrs. Shriver. But the thing I remember more than anything else is her unerring ability to ask all of us to do more. She never hesitated to ask for more from the people around her, which is one of the hallmarks of a true leader. Asking for more grows organizations, and it helps the people in those organizations grow as well. But leadership is a two-way street. It's not enough to ask. You also have to listen. And that's the next truth of leadership. Good leaders listen. They listen to the people around them. They listen to their clients and their consumers. They listen to ideas inside their field and from sectors that have nothing directly to do with their mission. More than anything, they're listening for change. We were the first company to put television content online. And we did it because we were listening to our consumers. But we were also listening to the murmurs in the marketplace about developments and technologies that could help us give our consumers what they really wanted. Many of you, probably all of you, have an iPod, and that's the device that changed my business forever. I saw the first video-enabled iPod several weeks before it hit the market, and I remember watching our television show Lost on it and thinking how amazing it was that this huge show looked so great on that tiny screen. And long story short, we became the first to put TV content in the iTunes store. Actually, it wasn't that long a story. We did the deal in 3 days. From the day we signed the deal, we began to see ourselves differently as a content studio, entertaining people globally, whether under the Disney, ABC, or ESPN brand, instead of a business defined by a label or its platform. Since then, we've always looked at technology from a consumer point of view first, and as content creators second. We want to know what each development means for our consumers, who will use it, how will it work for them, how will it give them what they don't have now. And only then do we start to look at how it affects us. What challenges does it create? What opportunities does it give us? And what do we need to do to leverage it to connect with our consumers? It sounds logical now in hindsight, but change represented a seismic shift in the way my business operates. Before this shift, television was on a set in your house. We decided what to air and when, and you didn't get much choice over how and when you watched it. Think about how you watch your favorite television shows today versus how you watched them when you first started this academic program. And you can better understand how much the shift in attitude has changed the medium and really how fast it happened. The evolution continues, and it's picking up the pace. Game-changing moments of inspiration come at you from surprising places, and you have to be paying attention. You have to be listening to your consumers, to the market, to cultural shifts, and technological developments that create opportunities to redefine the future. As a leader, you have to stay awake and be engaged beyond the day-to-day routines of your job and the politics of your position, or you'll miss the moment, that connection that could change everything. You have to be willing to lead and willing to listen. You also have to be willing to own your decisions and their consequences, which is my third lesson of the day. Real leaders wear wool, not Teflon. They share the success, but they own the failure, instead of letting the blame fall on others. Leaders take the risk required for results, knowing that some failure is often part of the process. They don't dodge responsibility when it happens or discourage innovation among others to ensure that it doesn't. I've worked with some remarkable people and learned from the very best in the business, the pioneers who created modern television. I was fortunate enough to be around people who understood that nothing is certain when you're creating something entirely new, and who encourage leaps of faith and calculated risk. The people I've admired most are the pioneers who took the chances, who failed publicly before coming back with an even better plan. Those are the people you want to work for, and those are the people who you want working for you. Those are my 3 fundamental truths of leadership. But the best leaders also share one more critical trait. They all have a life. Their existence isn't dependent on maintaining a position. Their worldview isn't limited to their organization or their industry. They are interesting people who have families and friends and interests, people who are involved in their communities and in their world. And the best leaders take real vacations. Note to self. They bring all of that into their work, the perspective, the recharging, the balance. They create full lives that are meaningful to them, and they're better prepared and equipped to lead because of it. We have a huge need for strong leaders today, and as Graziadio graduates, our expectations of you are high. We need you to be willing to lead when the opportunity comes, whether you feel ready or not. We need you to really listen to your consumers, your employees, and the world around you. We need you to own your choices, especially the mistakes, and to use those lessons to create even greater success. And above all, have a life and make it a really great one that reflects what matters most to you. More than anything else, this will determine the kind of leader you will be. Congratulations and best of luck.